Welcome, I'm Jackie Jarossi, and today we're going to be doing a lovely stretch and relaxation for the lower back, the hips, the knees, ankles and feet. These improve your circulation, help the health of your legs and all the muscles and bones of your legs. They're also fantastic for keeping our pituitary gland, thyroid gland and glandular system healthy and well, because when we take our legs in the air, it gets blood into our brain, our eyes, our ears, our glandular system, and it really helps balance all those lovely glands. So do them regularly, do them before you go to bed, when you wake up in the morning. And the other thing we're going to be doing is a very simple back stretch, which really you could do every day. It's such a simple stretch. It lengthens all the spine from the neck, all down these tight muscles that run all the way down into the hip sockets. So enjoy and experiment. Again, start very gently. If it hurts, please don't do too much. If you're in pain or you've got a lot of inflammation, start gently. See my video on how to stretch safely before you do any of my stretches. So I'm going to start by getting down onto the floor. I always suggest we put a cushion under the neck. You can put a rolled up towel, you can put a book, but you want to make sure your chin isn't sticking out, but to just gently tuck the chin in. And we're just going to arrive into our body and our breath. Breathe deeply in and out. And just notice your breathing as you're dropping in. So I've got my knees directed to ceiling. My heels are open. This stretch is also on 3 versions of dead pose. So do look at that for more detail on this particular posture, which is fantastic to align your spine. So breathing, listen to the body by closing your eyes and just scan the body to see how the body is. Notice if there's any areas today that are holding pain or tension. So you really pay attention to that part of your body, because that's the part that's going to say no, ouch, that's too much. So really listen to the vulnerable parts of your body. So breathing, my hands are on my hip sockets, and what we're going to start with today is to check we're open, our heels are wide as we can go. Your legs might be here, or I like to bring them a little higher up. My hands are on my hip sockets there, and what you're going to experiment with very simply and breathe is just a little roll of your spine. I like to think of this as a little massage for my back. We can't reach our back easily, so this is just fantastic for those big muscles that run down either side of your back that cause us a lot of problems when they get too tight. So you're just dropping and rolling. I could go so slowly. Breathe deeply. I could do tiny rolls. I'm used to this, so what I'm doing literally is pushing one thigh towards my other thigh, one hip towards my other hip. So I'm really lifting this hip off the ground and breathing. I could go nice and slow. In fact, if I had any back pain, I'd go really slowly, really being aware of where my body's touching the ground. So easy, slowly breathing. And I might close my eyes just to really listen to what my body's telling me. I could do it as I get used to this. I could do this a little faster. I've done this a lot. Just keep making sure those heels are wide, just to give you a little support. You can actually, as you get used to this, try and tilt the pelvis by squeezing and pulling in your core muscles. And then you can press your back in as if you're really using your body like a rolling pin, rolling out the tight muscles, breathing. You might hear some crunchy sounds. Have a little stop and a pause. See if you can really allow the tension that's in your back. Really say yes to those tight muscles. Always keep your head aligned. Take big breaths in because that just opens and widens. Try and keep your big toe pressed in. Don't lift those big toes. Don't let your toes go out wide. You're always trying to curl those toes in. Leave lots of space, hips, knees and back. And a little roll of my spine again. And just this, if you could do this in bed in the morning, is super, super good for you. And I can feel tension in my back. I can feel those powerful muscles in my back. And I'm really just appreciating how hard they've been working for me. Remembering to breathe. Again, I can do this quite quickly. Just this is a simple, 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 fantastic exercise. I could just let my neck, head roll a little side to side as my knees are rolling. And this is like rolling pin massage for your back muscles. So it's very simple. Do this regularly. Keep bringing those heels wide if you can. Have a little scan how that feels for the body. The next stretch we're going to do is just gently bring one knee in. If I'm not used to this, I can put my hands under my knees there, lift and drop my ankle. And just this is lengthening my muscles all the way here. When I pull my knees in, it lengthens in the lower back. So this is the gentle version, lifting and dropping. And remembering that breath in and breath out. And already I'm just allowing my muscles in my ankles to be loose. So again, keep swapping. This is getting blood into my feet, which is super good for my feet. Just do it a little. I could do this slowly if I'm not used to it, if my knees were a little sensitive. And just be in control of slow. Try not to hold your breath. Breathe out. Well, if I'm used to this, which I am, I could really lift and drop and really let the gravity take my legs. That's fantastic for my knees. As I'm used to this, I might even give my knees a little rub there. So try that for yourself, just rubbing your knees, because that improves the circulation of those magnificent joints there. You can do that together. This is the deeper version again, so any pain, any vulnerability in your legs, please don't do this version. This will be you if you practice this a little gently every day. And I'm really just letting my ankle just drop. And there's some crunchy sounds. Again, if I felt any pain, of course I could bring my hands up and just rub the muscles of the legs just to keep them warm and relaxed. Again, anytime you're not sure, just stop, close your eyes. Just feel how the lower legs are a little more tingly and relaxed. What are you noticing as you close your eyes and listen to your body and breathing? And the deeper version, of course, I could just bring my knee in even more, lift and drop. So again, very slowly. I'm not bouncing, I'm pulling, I'm breathing, I'm keeping my head in the center. And just that is good for my back, and I can relax into that and hold and breathe. So nice and slow. Again, you're just trying to find where's the point that feels safe for your body to stretch. Some people might just be here because that's enough. As you get used to this, as my body's done this a lot, I can really breathe deeply into the stretch. Hold. You don't have to hold. But you're just, again, just noticing in anything you're feeling in your body as you do this. Breathing, a little stretch, a big stretch. So that's the next deeper version of this stretch. And the fullest version is where I curl my chin up to the floor and I bring my nose to my knees and I find lots of lovely breath there and hold. Again, I wouldn't do this version unless I've done lots of yoga before, lots of stretching my back before. You're just really allowing. And this is curling and lengthening all the way through the neck, all the way down the muscles into my knees. Have a little scan and check how that feels. So this one again you can do in the mornings, in the evenings, and pulling in my core muscles. Strengthening the abdomen there, nice and slow. Easy breath. Just holding, sucking in these core muscles, but I'm not holding my breath. I could really focus on my breathing. I Take a let my head relax again and just have a little check. And the next thing we're going to play with is just come back to that roll again. So I'm really freeing up those muscles that I've been stretching. I'm pressing my back into the ground. I can feel some little sensations in my hips and my back as I do this. And this just eases the muscles that I'm beginning to lengthen and widen. Now I'm going to move a little more this way, just because I need a little more space for my next stretch. So to take the knees wide, rolling. Again, I could roll all the way over. It's very comforting. Take in the breath. Imagine you're just letting your whole body roll into the ground and add the breath. You can breathe through the nose or the mouth. This is super good for you. You can try it without a cushion if you like. That helps you. And you're just rolling, rolling, rolling and freeing those back muscles. And again, you can do it with keeping your head in the center and just rolling this way. Just leave your head really relaxed on top of the spine. If the head rolls, you just let it roll. You're trying to get lots of space into the knees. And the next thing we're going to experiment with is just taking one leg up like this. So you could do this, point and flex, swinging, rubbing, of course. You can do them both at once, pointing and flexing, letting them drop. As you get used to this, you can really lengthen the back of the legs and bring your hands onto your core muscles and point and flex. But really find a way to do this that's comfortable. Remember, don't start holding your breath. You're breathing anytime you like. You feel uncomfortable, you let your head drop, keeping your cushion there, and you roll. Because all the muscles in the legs are connected to the back. So if I get a little tired, you start with one leg. You can have two legs. You don't have to straighten them. You can point and flex your lovely toes. Never point your toes out. You're always trying to keep the toes ahead. Just this is fantastic for you. Deeper version here. Again, that's working my pituitary gland, my thyroid gland. The next thing you're going to experiment, again, for those starting gently, you might try just one leg. Coming up, I like to do two, and I'm just shaking my ankles and I'm breathing. And you imagine you've got flippers on, toes pointing ahead. As soon as I start feeling tired in any way, you rest, you roll, you breathe. Just really, you're listening to your inner guide. I'm your guide, but you're listening to your inner guide. Again, so shaking, pointing and flexing. Feel that pull through the body. You can press your heels wide, open the legs. Again, gentle version. I might just take my leg over here and just try and flex. And you might get some knee crunchy sounds. And that's fantastic. That's really opening and stretching. And you can do them one at a time. Again, it doesn't have to be straight. Just trying to think of opening the back of the knee. Again, I've done this a lot, so full version. I'm turning my toes in or straight ahead. I could hold, I could relax and hold and breathe. So you're just opening, heels open, toes slightly more close together. I could do it with my core muscles. And you get a little ache as your muscles get tired as you do this. So when you get your ache, you relax to here or relax to here and just scan the body and see how that feels. And again, while we're doing this, this is fantastic for your brain. Your brain is getting lots of lovely oxygen and breath and blood just by lifting your legs in the air. It's fantastic to do if you're pregnant, to help the circulation of the legs. I could lift my head up, point and flex, flexing, shaking. Lovely, could do a little bit of this. So these are all the things you're playing with as I'm doing this. And my next favourite one is to fling my legs away. Again, gentle version might be I'm just flinging that leg. I could fling it ahead. If you just find what's the version for me, you're using your core and breathing. I'm used to this, so I'd love to run in the air. So please don't put your hands under your head and lift your head unless it feels really safe for you. But remember the breathing. So experimenting, flexing, shaking, pointing in your own time, and resting. You can rest here. You can rest here. And again, this frees your back because all the leg muscles are beautifully connected all the way into your back. The next thing we're going to try, I'm going to move out a little more, so I've got lots of space, is you can take one leg out, hold your hand. This is the gentle version. So I'm supported here, and I'm just flinging one knee sideways. Again, you can do those sounds. And I'm just freeing my knees, whatever it is. It might be just this that's good for you. You can again do both sides that way. That's the gentle version. I've done a lot of this, so I can take both legs wide and breathe. And I like to just rub those muscles here, anywhere you can reach the muscles. If you find some lovely tension, you can even tap inside those hip muscles, thigh muscles, just to free those muscles up. You can use a fist, making sure it's a nice sensation. Those tight muscles here. You can tap up the legs, rub the legs, reaching wherever you can comfortably, rubbing your beautiful knee sockets, your fabulous leg bones or muscles, so you can take them wide, pointing and flexing. Because I'm used to this, I'm going to have to move out even a little more there. You're just trying to let your legs open as much as they can comfortably. So remember, this is the gentle version. Start here. Don't even think of bringing both legs up. Breathe, flexing both legs again. I don't even have to bring my knees up too high. I can play. Anytime it's uncomfortable, you can do any of the other versions we've done. This is fantastic. Remember the rubbing. I'm looking for lovely tight muscles I can get my hands on. I could look up and work my core muscles. Just this is fantastic for my knees. All the joints of my knees are getting a lovely stretch. It's fantastic for your body. And again, it balances all the thyroid gland, the pituitary gland. Because all that blood, more blood is coming into the thyroid, pituitary. Then you stop and you rest. Feel your back on the ground. Close your eyes and just scan your body. How does that feel now? What awareness do you have? So, hips, shoulders, knees in line. Here, rest a little while. Have a little roll side to side when you've finished. Because already I can feel my back muscles are a little less tight. They're a little freer. Again, you might end with a little knee pull in, my favorite thing, just a roll. This is not an effort. I'm not forcing anything. I'm just letting gravity and the weight of my bones massage my muscles. And gradually over the time, your knees will open a little more and a little more, and that's really important for our hips. This is our thigh bone and hip socket, and this is standing, sitting, walking. And you want to be able to rotate that lovely joint in there so it gets all the blood into the joints, because they have a poor blood supply. So that's why it's great to bring the knees wide, legs wide. So listen, play, explore, try and do this for a minute here and there when you wake up in the morning, go to bed, because it balances your thyroid glands. It's good for your brain. Just doing this is not just good for your legs and your hips and your back. So enjoy. Now when you're coming up to sitting, you might turn sideways and just relax before and come up to all fours so that you don't strain your back. Enjoy. Practice this. Super good for you.